Time is an illusion. I have said that a number of times now, and in today's episode, I will tell you why I say that. By changing what you are doing can change your perception about the time spent on that activity. Hi, I'm Sudeshna, the founder of The Abundant Psyche, and you are listening to the Not So Corporate podcast. Here we talk about all of those not so corporate things that we corporate entrepreneurs do differently to be more successful than our other corporate peers. And today I'm talking about time. And this is a favorite subject of mine because people have the biggest blocks against time and money. And whatever people have the biggest blocks around are my favorite subjects to talk about because there's a good reason why people have these big mental blocks. And as you know, most of us tend to believe that time is limited, time is fixed, you can never get back time. And in some sense, that's true. But in some other sense, time is an illusion. Now, I see you raise your eyebrows, so hang on a minute. Tell me, when you were doing that super boring task at work, how long did an hour feel? And now, tell me, when you were out partying with your friends, or if you are like me, spending an hour meditating, how long did that hour feel to you? I'm sure your answers will vary by what you have been doing differently, correct? Now, the reason for that is when you are having fun, time passes really quickly. Einstein was right. The theory of relativity is just that. Time passes quite quickly when we are having fun, and time passes incredibly slowly when we are bored. But there are states in between. Most of us associate fun with socializing, hanging out with friends and family, or doing something that you enjoy. And the boredom kicks in many a times during work. But that's not all. There are sometimes you are doing busy work at work. Busy work that's basically taking up all your time. It's not necessarily completely boring, but also you understand that this is not going to take you anywhere. But in case you want to find out more about this concept of time and time well spent and how you can get into the state of flow, there's a book called Flow by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. He's a positive psychologist. He's brilliant. Suggest all the books that he's written. He has this concept that your optimal level of happiness is while you do something that you are not super skilled at, but you are not also completely a newbie to, and then something that really challenges you. So your skill and challenge balance have to be optimal. That's what he says. That's the crux of what he says in that book. To just follow on from that, you can really apply this at having a more fulfilling experience at work. And sometimes you will find that even though you are in a state of flow at work, like I am quite in a state of flow when I'm writing some computer programming, I'm writing some code, I'm learning new things about, the latest development in machine learning. And I get into a state of flow when I'm doing that because I am skilled at that, but not necessarily skilled to the level of, say, a Google AI researcher. And I find it challenging, right? Because I don't know a lot of things about it. So yes, I'm in a state of flow when I do that. But if I was doing that all the time, I would find it actually quite interesting. But if I did that for 8 hours every day at work, that wouldn't be what my purpose is. So while Mihai Csikszentmihalyi says that the secret to happiness is actually finding that optimal balance between where your skill and challenge is, I think there's more to it. And many people call it your life's purpose and all of those good things. But my question is, how do you even get to your purpose? How do you even know what your purpose is? What if you had no purpose? Well, if you had no purpose, you would not be on this earth. So I promise that you have a purpose. It's just not known to you yet. But most of us are like that. We don't know what our purpose is. And I'm sure if you are listening to this, and if you are like most of my students, you are also someone who's trying to find their purpose but not quite sure and doesn't know what to do interim till they find purpose. So do you have to wait till you have that eureka moment, oh yeah, this is my purpose, and till then you'll be unhappy? Of course not. You could apply the theory of flow and get quite happy at work, but that won't necessarily fulfill you. And there are other aspects to actually having a more balanced and fulfilled life at work, in your career. And one of the key things I always talk about is clarity. You know, people don't think about this enough, people don't talk about this enough, but the moment you have clarity, 80 to 85% of your work is done. The moment you know what is it that you want to be doing, what is your goal, you can absolutely obsess about the next thing and how you are going to do it. I love Simon Sinek, and he says they dwell in the why, and I completely get it. But also, I think that's almost an incomplete picture. It's great to have your purpose. It's great to know your goal. It's great to know what your goal is. And it's very important, in fact, critical to know your why, because if you don't know your why, you won't be able to sustain it. But also, it's extremely important to get obsessed with how. Now, the thing is, a lot of us have goals. We don't know our why, we don't know our how, which is why we put it in the back burner. And 6 months later, we haven't achieved that because we were not obsessed about the why and the how. You could very well think of, okay, I want that dream job as I tend to get asked about data science jobs, right? I want to get my dream job as a data scientist. My question is why? Most people don't ever have an answer to that other than, oh, it's supposed to be a safe career. Well, actually, public service announcement, data science jobs are probably not that future proof, given that we are automating data science jobs every single day. Like, look at companies that like DataRobot or H2O. There are cool platforms that are actually automating data science jobs. If you are interested in chatting more about that one, just drop me a note. But that aside, can you understand the scale of these things? Like, you have to understand your why. It's not enough to just say that, yes, I want a data science job because it's cool, or I want an operations job because I think it's the best problem solving that you can do. But why do you want to solve that problem? What happens if you solve that problem? What happens for you? What happens for society? And why do you care about that? So there are various levels of the why. But then once you find your why, even then some people put the goal in the back burner just because they don't know how, and it's so humongous a challenge that they would rather put it in the back burner. They'd lock it away somewhere because that's safe, and our brain always is craving for safety. Our brain always tries to keep us safe because you want those adrenaline hormones, cortisol hormones to be in check, and that's what your brain is doing. And it's up to you whether you fall prey to that, or if you step back from that and make a decision on, yes, this is what I want to do. You have some agency in that, and I'll figure it out how to do it one step at a time. And most people are not doing that. That's why they are keeping stuck. And the best thing that you can do when you're stuck is just to move. Just take one step. Don't care if it's the wrong step. Even if you just move one step, that'll get you into the inertia of moving. Because the inertia of staying stuck and the inertia of moving both are big inertias, if that's even a word, I don't know. But you get what I mean. Like, it's a state. If you are in the state of getting stuck, you are in that state. If you are in the state of movement, you are in that state. And both have inertia to it. If you are stuck with your career, my friend, and if you are feeling like you are bored at your job, you are burned out, or if you are just feeling like, yes, I have a job, it's not particularly challenging, but I'm not really bored. I don't see myself as bored beyond death. It's not mind numbing, but I feel like there's something bigger and better out there for me. Or maybe you're being passed on for promotions and you don't really understand why, but you would like to get promoted, be noticed by your boss, be seen by them. If that sounds like you, I'm hosting a Dream Job Finder web series later this month. The link to sign up is below. And if you are interested, apply. So yeah, if that sounds like you, if that sounds like you would benefit from some more clarity on the next step on your career, and you are sort of getting stuck in the why and the how and what, and you have very disproportionate feelings or perceptions about time in your day job, then do apply, because I think it'll be epic. Coming back to the concept of time and flow. So this is what I will say to you. Two things, right? One is, if you change your perception of time, if you change what you do, that changes your perception of time. When I say time is an illusion, it's not an illusion in terms of how many rotations the earth made around the sun. It's just an illusion from the point of how you perceive it. And as we know, our perception generally tends to dictate our reality. How much ever the rational expectation economists keep saying about rationality and the markets are rational and all of that, I'm an economist and I don't believe a word they say, because I believe that your perception creates your reality, and the market will always have information asymmetry. Okay, I'm going off on my tangent as usual, but the reason that exists is because there's information arbitrage, but also because the same thing people have different perceptions on. For example, you might believe that Bitcoin is the future. Someone else might believe that it's not. Your perception creates your reality. Whether Bitcoin is too risky or not depends on how you perceive our banking system, our legal system, our regulatory system, and so on. There's no right or wrong answer, because whatever you believe, whatever is in your perception, is the reality for you. And if you can change your context, you can change your perception. So we could perhaps challenge some of your beliefs and give you more information on the crypto market and change some of your beliefs around it. I'm by no means a crypto expert, so I'm not going to dwell in that area, but you know what I mean. Like, if I give you more information about a certain thing, your belief might change into something else, your perception might change into something. Point of this long-winded conversation is that if you change what you do, your perception of time will change. And that is why I say that time is an illusion. How do you change what you do? By having clarity on what you want to be doing. And that is what I think can become incredibly powerful in terms of unlocking what is your purpose. And then again, coming back to time, and this is the other reason why I say that time is an illusion, because if you think about it, really, time is a man-made concept. It's something that we have defined. We define 24 hours as Earth's rotation around its own axis. we define 1 year as Earth's revolution around the sun. What if we called it something else? You see what I mean? So time is an illusion in terms of I have only that many hours in the day, because everything comes back to definitions. That's why I sometimes say that time is an illusion. But very specifically, to our context of why I say that is because when you change what you do, your perception of time changes. And if you knew that, wouldn't you be choosing fun over boredom every single day? It doesn't always mean that you go and have this huge party every day, 24 hours a day, because that's not what we are about. That's not what is sustainable. That's not what is helpful. That's not what I'm talking about at all. In fact, what I'm saying is have fun in general in life. Learn how to have fun without friends. What is it that puts you in that state of fun even when you are at work or you are just sat by yourself watching Netflix? What is it that helps you get to that? That is what we want to be unlocking. And the more you can be in that state, the more fun and happiness you will have in your life. Like I have been saying over the past few weeks, clarity is what gets you there. And if you are looking for more clarity, just click the link down below and I will speak to you soon. Bye.